Hi gang, this Hexy. I'm filming this shortly before New Year's, so Happy New Year's. Of course, this is going to show up later. All right, we just wrapped up scenario E5, Tiger Paw. Okay, south of Leningrad. You know, the Russians were constantly trying to break through to relieve the pressure in Leningrad, and this was just one of those fights. So, all those little red stars, those are concealed markers. I said it earlier, the game doesn't provide any wrecked markers. Those are all destroyed T-34s or T-70s. Some of them didn't even get out of the woods on their first move before the Tigers lit them up. No destroyed vehicles on the German side. So 2 Tigers, 2 PZ-3Ns, some infantry squads that I thought were going to be completely useless, and a mortar team and a 37 millimeter cannon that was pretty much useless. Put it this way, the 37 millimeter anti-tank gun was sitting right underneath that foxhole marker. Don't ask me why, but he didn't hit. He all he did was bounce rounds off T-34s, and you could never get a shot on a T-70. So the objective was to either clear the hill of the Tigers, yeah, right, and exit 1 tank off the western edge, or exit 7 tanks off and don't worry about the Tigers sitting on that hill. Well, when I set this up, only having 4 German tanks and having 17 Soviet tanks, I thought, this could be a walk in the park, man, because this infantry is really not even going to play a role. Well, guess what? It wasn't. The Germans get 2 command points, and you can use those 2 command points to have these Tigers fire final protective fire, even though they're used, at greater than 1 hex. So they did some damage. However, you have to roll for proficiency when shooting, unless the conditions are completely perfect, which is probably just never going to happen. You got to roll for proficiency. Well, the Tigers start at a 9. So if they get any kind of plus, like, what was it? The target, let me see where the chart is here. You've got your proficiency, gun vehicle proficiency check right there. So if the target was, 0 to less than 10 hexes, there was going to be no modifiers for that. If they were marked as op fire, which I almost never got my Germans into an op fire order because they were scrambling, you would get a +1. Well, that would put the Germans at a 10 on a proficiency check, which your dice only goes to 10. You don't have to worry about it. Now, granted, sometimes when these Tigers fired, they missed, but when they did hit, usually unless the vehicle was moving and they had just moved themselves, which they really didn't until late in the game here, you had to roll pretty low to get a hit, but a lot of times they did, as you can see by all the scattered armor all over the place. All right, now, as we closed in, this game only took 6 turns, okay? Out of 9, I think. Yeah, out of 9. And the Soviets, I thought they were going to do it, and I was talking about the infantry didn't do nothing. Well, you know what? These guys came out of their foxholes and tried to get in here and close assault the tanks. This guy was actually successful. He had close assaulted. He survived any fire from the tank that he was going in the hex after. And when a unit doesn't have a melee firepower, which is usually a subscript underneath their firepower, you use their regular firepower, not their proficiency, but the regular. So he has a 5. All you do is roll less than that 5, and you're going to destroy the vehicle. And he did. This guy over here, he didn't, but he was able to slow those vehicles up. So what happened? Well, Soviets exited 2 there. This guy here was headed for it, and he got smoked by that PZ-3 that turned, moved towards him, and shot into his back end. That was a pretty easy shot, too. And then they got 3 off over here. So they had 5. Yeah, they wouldn't have made it. 6 tanks, they had to get 7. So this was a German victory they held. And I understand the Germans did a lot of that, but they just kept getting thinner and thinner and thinner. Well, I can say on this little piece of the battlefield, they didn't lose anything. They got a unit that got suppressed and reduced. He'll just get some replacements, and they'll be back on the front line defending again here soon. So Tiger Paw, scenario E5 from the Battle Pack 1 of Band of Brothers, Battle Pack 1 of Band of Brothers, is now complete, and this is a German victory. I don't want to say by the skin of their teeth. The Russians needed 2 more vehicles, and they weren't going to get it. So let's wrap this up. Thank y'all for watching this, and we're going to move on to the next game. Keep your eyes and ears open. Talk to you soon.